This is my third time filming this video. My third time. Today is March 2nd. It is Monday. It is Read Across America Day. It feels like a Monday. I don't think I have to explain that to anybody. It feels like a Monday. I've recorded this video 3 times. Here we go. Today, we are going to be discussing validating people. What not validating people looks like is interrupting or talking over someone, dismissing their emotions by saying you're overreacting, minimizing by saying it wasn't even that big a deal, immediate problem solving without empathy, being defensive by saying that's not what I meant, and logical rebuttal instead of emotional acknowledgement. This is a problem because it diminishes trust, it escalates conflict, and it creates emotional distance, which leads to low morale and high turnover. As professionals, we sometimes do this accidentally. It could be because we are focused more on efficiency over connection. We want to fix rather than understand. We feel personally criticized. We value logic over emotion, or we're uncomfortable with emotional expression. Like I said, oftentimes invalidating is unintentional. So how do we fix this? First, you want to pause. Pause before you try to fix the problem. When someone shares a problem with you, your first job is not to fix it, but to acknowledge it. Next, we are going to reflect before we respond. So saying something along the lines of, it sounds like you feel blank because blank. That lowers defensiveness. Someone is more inclined to listen to you and to express more of why they feel what they feel. Next, we're going to normalize it without minimizing. So saying something like, that makes sense. I can see why that would feel frustrating. Or, given what happened, that reaction is understandable. Remember, you are validating the experience, not the conclusion. The last thing you're going to do is move to problem solving. You're not problem solving first, second, or third. The last thing you're doing is problem solving. If that doesn't mean you are coming up with solutions to help, that means you're asking questions on what they want from you. They're bringing this information to you. Now it is time to ask them, what do they want you to do about it? Not like that, though. You can say something like, what would feel helpful? How would you like to handle this? Would you like advice or just to vent? These are important questions, especially that last question, because sometimes when I'm telling people stuff, I already know what the solution is. I already know what I'm going to do to fix the problem. I already know. But first, I got to rant and get it out so I know how I feel. I call my mom and I tell my mom, this is how I feel about this. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to say this. I'm going to write this email. This is what I'm going to say. And then we talk about it. We may come up with elaborate things of what I'm going to do and say. And then we go back and we're like, okay, I was just upset. I just need to get that out. Here's how I'm really going to handle the situation. I already know the solution. Sometimes I just need to vent to get it out. Something that can help you make a shift in your mind is that validation is not agreement. It's acknowledgement. You can say to someone, I can see why you feel that way, while disagreeing with the decision they've made or the interpretation of the interaction. I oftentimes understand why people made decisions based on their background, based on who they are as a person, and the things that have happened in their lives, the things that they have seen. I can understand why that person made that particular decision. I don't have to agree with it. And oftentimes I don't agree with decisions or the interpretation of situations that people have, but I understand where they're coming from and I understand why they feel that way and why it is frustrating to them and why they interpreted it the way that they did. That does not mean I agree and I co-sign on the decision that they made and how they interpreted the conversation or interaction. Things you need to do this week to help you to build upon this skill. In one conversation every day this week, focus on reflecting what the person just told you, reflecting what you heard. Ask, did I get that right? And then notice how the energy shifts. You'll probably see faster conflict resolution, more openness, more trust, and fewer repeated arguments. You want to ask yourself, did I interrupt? Did I correct before I understood? Did I acknowledge the emotion explicitly? Did the other person seem more relaxed or more tense after I spoke? If they felt calmer, then you probably validated correctly. If not, there are some things you need to work on. That's why I always say practice makes better. So the more you practice this, the more you acknowledge the mistakes that you're making and how you're validating or invalidating people, and you work to fix those, then the better you'll get. And it'll be like second nature to you. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'll see you tomorrow for more tips.